Welcome to Keeping Athena Company.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Athena Kabenu. I'm a stand-up comedian, writer and podcaster and parent. Being a parent is lots of fun. I'm having a great time, but my child doesn't speak. So the child doesn't speak. The child just sits here. She just stares at me. Sometimes she makes noises like or whatever. So to stop me from losing my mind, I invite a mate round to come round for something to eat and a coffee and a chat. So welcome to my kitchen. Oh, sorry, my mum's kitchen.
It's a lovely kitchen.
My mum's lovely kitchen. Faye Treacy.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for coming.
You're more than welcome.
You're looking very summery today.
I'm feeling quite summery.
Really? Why are you feeling summery?
Well, I went for a run earlier.
Oh,
I did
nice.
3 late gigs and I had beers after, so I had to run out the alcohol.
Right.
That was the general plan. So I only did 4K.
Oh, only 4K.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You got go leave this kitchen right now. Top it up to be a nice round 5K. No, that's good. That's balance. Because so you worked, drank whilst you're working or after?
I had 2 beers before. I have to be honest.
This is like confession.
Yeah, no,
I
I
might
felt
change
bad.
this into Sunday confessional.
Well, it's just like, can I admit? Like, I did radio, and obviously don't drink before radio.
Oh, can you not like driving a train or being a pilot, isn't it?
Yeah, you just don't want to. I can't. A podcast, you don't have Ofcom.
Oh, right. That's
On
true.
radio. But yeah, like, I like having a beer before you go on stage. And if you're in the same venue and you're doing 3 shows, I find you drink 2. But any more than 2 on stage, you'll lose your sensitivity.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I
Personally.
never drink before I go on stage.
Never.
And especially now, I don't drink so much because I was pregnant and you're not supposed to drink.
I want to get pregnant just so I get boobs for once.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I just want boobs.
My boobs are so big. And talking of boobs, I'm going to have to put on. Brief breastfeeding interlude, right? She's latched on. Drinking. I don't drink before gigs. I get lightheaded. I chat shit. I can't do it.
I remember starting and you never would have a drink. But
That's because I was broke as well.
But you didn't want to drink in front of people. You said, I only like to drink. I remember you said this to me in a bar with people I know.
When I used to go out drinking a lot, I used to think it's really odd that people just drink with anyone. Because it's like, drinking is quite expensive. Drinking for the crack is good, but like if I'm not your friend, I can't go and spend 50 quid in this bar and get trashed. Especially because I chat a lot of shit when I was stoned. Like, you know, what happens in the bar's got to stay in the bar. But if you're with somebody you don't know very well...
Yeah. See, the music world's quite different. So when you're doing gigs, you get a green room and you get a rider.
Right.
And if you're in a band and like things, and it's always, you finish your house and you go for drinks. It's always quite laddie. Right. So I came kind of from that. But I understand what you mean in terms of I don't go to cocktail bars. Jesus
and
Christ.
I think if the drink's free as well, it's a bit different. So I've had a few green room beers, but generally speaking, and I used to drive a lot as well when I did comedy, so...
That will probably save my liver.
Let's talk about your music. Are you a rock star?
I'm not a rock star, I'm a trombonist, but
You're
I try.
trombonist.
I wanted to be a rock star.
Did you want to be a rock star?
I know, I used to play bass at Brit School, being like, just slapping
Like a
everything.
bass guitar?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I want to be Flea from the Chili Peppers. And then was like, nah. I kind of like, I did all the auditions at the same time as like Adele and stuff. And I was like, you get to Brit at 16. I was like, I just sing in tune. That's not being able to be a
But your
lead
talent's in your
vocalist.
finger work, obviously.
Yeah, like trombone stuff and piano. So there I played bass and piano
Right.
and then went to music college on trombone.
Okay.
Did the classical course, which was mental because I knew nothing really that much about classical music.
But you still got into the Royal Academy,
Yeah.
right? Which I understand is a very good academy. It's not a pauper's academy, it's a Royal Academy.
It was so posh. Like at Brit School, like I grew up in Croydon, state school, Brit School. I had the orchestral instrument and I came from a convent school.
Yeah.
And so I was seen as the posh kid because I had speech therapy as a kid, so I'm quite well spoken.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. And then I got to academy and I couldn't have been more common. And I was like, I just can't win on the class thing.
Yeah, class is an odd thing, especially when you spent a bit of time in America, didn't you?
Yeah, after academy for 1 year.
Oh, that was after Royal Academy, okay. So yeah, class is a weird thing for me because we were broke, but still, like, my mum thought we were posh.
Yeah.
So I realised that even though financial barriers will definitely hold you back from things, what you can get from expectation can often make up for that. So we were expected to go to uni, we were expected to be professionals, we were expected to kind of like have a future that involved very traditional kind of middle class things.
My parents were teen parents,
Right.
and then when I had my older sisters, Vicky and Laura, and then when I was born, they started doing respite care, foster care and stuff
Right.
as well. But my sisters were the first ones to go to uni, definitely.
Right.
Like, oldest one became a nurse, now works in public health, and the other
Yeah.
one's a physio and now works in public health.
Wow, and you were a musician and radio broadcaster. Oh,
Yeah.
radio presenter.
I don't know, I am a broadcaster. I've written that on Twitter. I'm a broadcaster, I guess that's what I am, but I present on the new Scala radio channel.
Okay, we're going to go back to that. I still want to talk about you want to be a rock star.
Okay,
so who were your favourite bands when you were younger that inspired you to have this dream?
Okay, Rolling Stones, absolutely love them. Pink Floyd, Led Zepp, The Police. I was then trying to be an indie kid. I think when I was about 15, the first live gig I went and saw was like Blink 182 or like Less Than Jake down at Brixton. Get the bus from Croydon. And then I guess I got into like Nina Simone and all my big band singers. Right. And it was the bass guitar.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah, well, she's probably one of my favourites. Yeah. I think Ella, Sarah Vaughan and Janis Joplin randomly are one of my favourites.
That's not actually random. I think anybody who likes female vocalists always ends up liking, you always end up throwing Janis Joplin into the thing. My one was Minnie Riperton.
Yeah, great.
When I was too old to have heard of her, but I should have known of. Everyone should know about her, right?
Yeah.
I must have been like an old teenager by the time I understood she existed. And that opened up a world to like the 70s and 60s that I hadn't really explored before outside of disco.
Yeah, because my dad was a punk, so I grew up listening to a lot of punk stuff with my dad, and then I liked the trombone because on the B-side was all the two-tone.
Oh, I see.
And then I heard like Rico and the Specials and things like that, and I was just like, what's this sound? It's very different, like two-tone to American ska, I think.
Right. So would you say, so was that why you became, musically inclined because of your dad?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I liked music. And it was the first thing I was quite good at.
Right.
Like, I was really dyslexic, so I failed year 2 sats, but they got me a cornet because they gave like free instruments, and then I moved on to trombone because it was like a near extinct instrument for free.
Right. Okay.
And I did like grade 5 before I left primary school. So I was like...
That's really advanced.
Yeah, I went really fast, whereas couldn't spell my surname.
Okay, so music is your language.
Yeah, pretty much. I got the music stuff until I got to the Royal Academy of Music, and they're like, the year I got in, I practiced 6 hours a day to get in, and then a 12-year-old won Young Musician of the Year on trombone.
Right.
And he's like principal of the London Symphony Orchestra.
Alright, what do you want? Do you want the other boob? Oh my gosh.
Did she have a favourite one, or...?
Good.
It's a bit like a man.
Just...
Or a woman.
People who don't understand what that's about, I just said, if I stick a breast in my child's mouth, she goes quiet, hence, just like a man. And I can't argue with that, like, at all.
It's true, but I don't have boobs, I'm always just like, you can take both.
You'd be surprised. Apparently, the size of your boobs doesn't dictate how much milk you have. Did you know this?
Oh.
So just so you know, like, you don't...
How does that? Because I would have thought...
It's because of all the ducts eventually they expand anyway. I don't really know why that's the case biologically, but that is the case.
Like, I'd never seen the inside of a breast until that thing that went around on Facebook that got really popular with all the... And I was like, how did I not know that?
Okay.
We're really muscly.
I am trypophobic. You know what that is?
Like, scared of the insides?
Yeah, a little bit. So scared of like certain pictures that are holy and quite organic. That picture is the epitome of what trypophobic people cannot look at.
Okay.
It's the most hideous. And also, I used to see it a lot because whilst I was breastfeeding in the early days, it was quite fascinating. And I wanted to know how to make more milk. And when that picture came up at like 3 a.m. while she was cluster feeding, I was just itching for days. Oh,
no.
It's really odd. Anyway, I keep talking about trypophobia because a lot of people don't know it exists or that it's got a name. When I found out it had a name, I was like, there's more of us.
So in like Hannibal, when he cuts open the brain, things like that, you won't be able to...
Yeah, that one I can manage. It's mainly... All I can say is if it's holy and if it's bitty, I don't like it.
Okay.
If you Google trypophobia, you'll see the exact images that comes up. The images that come up are the exact things that we don't like to look at. I'm gonna start a Trypophobia Anonymous group. I feel like the internet isn't kind to us because every now and again you'll open Twitter and you'll see something like that and you can't go on the internet for the rest of the day. It's just...
I need that. I basically need to develop that so I can get over my social media addiction.
Yes, that's what you... Okay, so I think if you can get it by looking at these pictures, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or you can just get over your addiction by just not charging your phone.
Yeah. I know, it's really bad. I feel like I'm too obsessed with my phone.
What makes you feel like you're obsessed with your phone?
Like, I always have it. Well, I mean, it's over there now, and I'm fine. When I'm in this... Like, if I've got a gig or I've got a recording session, turn it off, put it to the side.
Yeah.
But, like, the rest of the time, it's like... what I realised it was a problem is that I realised I wake up and I check social media before a coffee.
Right.
And I've been trying to get that out of my brain to not go on social media before I go out for a run. Yeah. And have, like, normal morning routine.
Yeah.
Without
I regret not being able to wait without checking my phone. You know, if I look at the bus stop and the bus, you know, the countdown thing on a bus says the bus will be 3 minutes. I go, 3 minutes?
Yeah.
I regret my brain not being able to just rest for
true.
3 minutes. I've lost a lot of patience because of social media. I'm addicted to social media too. And the weird thing is I'm addicted to it, but I've definitely cut down my use, if that makes sense. I'm addicted to just preying. I just spy on people. I'm addicted to just going through the timeline and see what people are saying.
Yeah, I do that more probably on Twitter, but Twitter I think is more arguments all the time. Facebook, I've been unfollowing people for about 3 years now. It's been my new fun game. Yeah, it's my new fun game to do, mainly with stand-ups.
Oh, what kind of thing will
stand-ups and trumpet players where I'm just like, okay.
What kind of thing will make you unfollow or mute a person on social media?
Essays. I don't care that much about what you're feeling today. And also there's hundreds of people in Edinburgh. I don't need a diary essay, or I've done it. I know it's shit sometimes and I know it's amazing sometimes. I don't need to know what your favourite drink is.
Your favourite bar.
Yeah,
whether you had how many people in your room.
Yeah, or it's just like, it's all, the same kind of, everyone's in Edinburgh is doing the same kind of jokes, like, I had Kate Middleton in the audience, it was packed out, I've got a Netflix special, you know, and you're just like either going one way or it's depressing.
Or it's depressing, 2 people came in, but it's a great show.
Yeah. And
you think, oh, bless you. No, my feeling of it is that we've both been to Edinburgh, what you can do is you can end up so far up your own arsehole. That's kind of all you can do. A lot of it is, so I was having a conversation with someone yesterday actually, and I said, to do well in a lot of creative industries, you've got to be narcissistic.
It's true, and I hate that.
Yeah, and I actually started to do better once I became narcissistic. So once I started talking about myself, putting up selfies. So what I try and do is I try and think to myself, okay, this is ridiculous. No one gives a fuck that I sold out. But if someone sees it and they might offer me a gig, so I try and balance my ego. Yeah,
I'm being a massive hypocrite. My Instagram is busy. I'm constantly on Twitter. It's just
but
Facebook,
I keep it business.
I've stepped back from, because that's just for people you know, or you know what I mean, industry sees stuff on Instagram and Twitter and followers.
Your Facebook page ain't being seen by no one. There's a lot of
it's just middle-aged men who follow me on Facebook as well. So it's just like,
there's a lot of middle-aged men in comedy.
I know, and in the music world, when you're a trombonist, the Glenn Millar tour was enough for me.
So you must have gotten a load of new fans. So let's talk about tours, because you do a lot of music tours.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, so in what capacity are you on tour? As a trombonist?
So I did just freelance kind of stuff.
Right.
So last year I went on tour for about 3 to 4 months around Spain and Portugal with the Glenn Millar Band. And that was really fun. I like the music.
Not everyone's going to know who Glenn Millar is. So
okay. Trombonist. Think, I know
that song.
Yeah. In the mood, really twee. He died in a plane crash.
But his band is still keeping his memory strong.
Yeah, so there's will be a Glenn Millar Band in Germany, a Glenn Millar, so I was in the UK one.
Oh, it's like franchises, like McDonald's or Subway.
Yeah.
But
so you just go out and do all of his music. And so we had so there was 4 dancers as well out, which they were really cool, doing tap kind of stuff. And then you would have the close harmony, 3 backing singers and the main crooner at the front. Okay. And then you have a big band.
So I know what happens on tour stays on tour, but is there something that can is there a story?
Not on that tour. At the end of that tour, I was like, I'm done with the middle-aged men. So many of them were worried about my fertility over breakfast.
Oh my God.
You know, and you were just it just got to I was the youngest by a good 18, 20 years. Actually, just me and another trumpet player. And we were like, wow.
And just to be clear, what was their specific concern about your fertility?
I think it's when they found out I was approaching 30 and that I was single. And they were like, but you're a wonderful woman. You're going to run out of time. And I was like, but I'm fine. And they were like, I was like, but I'm on the same gig as you. I'm enjoying my working life. My number one priority wasn't always the baba. I do want one maybe one day, but I was a bit like, it's not your choice to tell me over coffee at breakfast.
A lot of it's patriarchy and their own misogyny. But a lot of people just don't know what to say to women. Do you know what I mean? Or let's talk about the weather or politics or sport.
Yeah, it's like, we're in Barcelona. Let's talk about Catalan.
Right,
let's have this conversation. But yeah, that was the thing. I got a bit drunk. I left them. Sorry, this is a running theme. We didn't have a show that day. They were really pissing me off at breakfast.
Yeah.
So I went out with one of the singers and we just went and had like a tapas lunch. And then I was like wandering around and I realised I was in the Catalan protest.
Oh, brilliant.
And I had no idea at the time. And I was just wondering, I was like, Scottish independence. But it was, you
could have got yourself arrested.
I know, it was a really dumb move, but it was just quite entertaining. I was like, oh, I didn't realise this was going on.
Well, it's funny because I was in Barcelona and I just caught the tail end of it. I'm all up for it. I don't think it makes sense for Catalonia to be independent, but I think it makes sense for them to articulate they're a different part of Spain. There's a different culture.
There's loads of different regions of Spain, isn't there?
Precisely. So, and I think if every now and again they remind us, I don't really have a problem with that.
I think it's a little bit like Scotland. If Catalan left, Catalan had all the money. So it's a bit like if we'd lost Scotland with the oil. I really understood Scottish independence, but it was a part of me just being like, I'm so glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Because imagine now Brexit.
Well,
if Scotland had left.
The biggest argument that people gave to Scotland for remaining in the Union was to remain in the EU. Well, if you leave the Union, you're going to leave the EU. Wouldn't that be a disaster? What happens a year later? These fuckers vote to leave. So I think there's a lot of legitimacy in having a second independence referendum in Scotland.
We always thought we were called Scottish. And it was only until we were burying my gran. Like, my cousin was there. And we found out that she was born in Essex. And he was like, but I thought I was half Pakistani, half Scottish. And then it turns out they're actually half Indian.
Right, maybe they were Indian before the partition. So maybe it's just a matter of the border.
I don't know. Like I went out with my cousin Tomley like other month, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I always thought you were Pakistani all my life, and I also thought you and Ian had the same dad. So now I'm like, no.
Well, there's a lot of messed up history because of the Anglo-Indian population. So who knows where that comes from?
He didn't. Like he was like, I didn't know either.
So where is he from?
He's saying India.
Okay.
But they don't know much.
Okay.
Like. He sees his dad, but like it just all seems a bit.
It could just be like well, but anyway, diversity is diversity. It's good for apparently the compulsion for humans to have babies with people who don't look like them is for genetic diversity, and it keeps us healthy.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is you'll live a long life because there's something there's a bit of a mix in there. My child's Nigerian, Ghanaian, Indian. What else is in there? Genetically, Nigerian, Ghanaian, Indian. Oh, yeah. That's three. It's a bit of a mix.
I think, it's English, Irish, Spanish. I've just been on tour with Hackney Colliery.
Okay.
And they're a British band. Okay. And I think they're a very white band, but they've taken Hackney Colliery and they're not Northern, and you're just kind of like, but they do New Orleans-y kind of style stuff. And they've just had a new tour, like a collaboration, so it's really cool music. If you like brass bands, check Hackney out. They're one of probably the biggest touring in the UK.
Hackney
Colliery Brass Band.
Hackney Colliery Brass Band.
Did Ronnie Scott's, and that was really fun.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Then like New Orleans-y, and then we've got the British brass band tradition, which is like the Northern, think grindful, think brass.
So when I think British
Jerusalem,
Northern, I think I was thinking of Northern Soul.
No. These are the miners. They need something to do, so they were given brass instruments back in the day. Okay. And it's a very working class thing, brass bands. That's what I quite like about it compared to other music.
Yeah, like
it's a societal
sort of
thing.
Strings. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, all kid goes, Mummy, I want to learn the harp.
Right.
And then go and get, like, being bought, like, a 30 grand harp. Like, no one at music college who played harp was poor.
Yeah.
Or they were Welsh.
What is it with the Welsh and harps?
I think it's because it's a Celtic thing. It's the same with the little Irish harp as well.
Oh, okay.
So the little smaller harps, I think it's,
the little ones, the mini harps.
Yeah, they're folk music kind of thing. Wales have a great music tradition. Their choirs and stuff are incredible.
Yeah, because there's a stereotype, sing like a Welshman.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about your radio show. Yeah, you host a radio show on Scarlet FM. I'll tell you a little story. Do you know Simon Mayo?
Well, I do now.
You do now?
When I went to the interview, they were like, we've got this guy to do this flagship. He's going to be like the big presenter. And when it's a man called Simon Mayo. And I went, who? Which is not the way to start an interview, because I didn't really do radio or anything before. I listened to Absolute when I was a kid, or XFM in the car, Capital.
Yeah.
A bit of Radio 4 if a friend's written something. I know as a comedian that's really bad. I always just found it a little bit highbrow. So when we went and had our first meeting with all the presenters, she was like, tell Simon didn't know who he was. And I was like, I know that's not a good idea. I know that much etiquette. But they needed a musical comedian. Maybe they couldn't afford Rachel Paris, I don't know. Anyway, so I get this and I do a demo and then I get this gig and it's with like Anthea Turner.
Yeah.
Goldie was on it. Mark Kermode, the film critic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like one of the non-celebs, but I get to do the like 6 to 8 Saturday to Sunday.
But you're a celeb now.
Oh, it's a new thing. I'm a celeb to middle-aged men. Middle-aged men love me.
That's pretty much who runs the country. I think if middle-aged men watch it or listen to it, it gets commission.
We got our numbers, so we're on like 250,000. But I think the demographic is mainly male, and I'm presuming white.
Which is interesting because it's like classical, and I would have thought that's not very gendered.
Yeah, but it was just more like Simon's one of the biggest. Yeah, oh, we've got Angelica Bell on it as well. She does the Saturdays, and so you've got Anthea and you've got Sam Hughes.
Who's Sam Hughes?
She does it during the day, who's a presenter during the week. So
it's quite gender balanced.
Yeah, they're trying to,
Yeah, I think it's more because it's digital and guys like their gadgets. I don't know. But the Simon thing's funny. So like, I'm 37. I didn't realise I was old until one day I used to work outside of London, so I'd drive to work every day. I was working in Bedford at the time. And I'd drive home and I'd listen to Drive Time, and then after a while I just thought, oh my god, I spent the last year listening to Radio 2 Drive Time. I'm fucking old. Simon Mayo used to do the Drive Time, so that's how I knew him. And the way these shows work, they have like these segments, and you just get really into these segments, and if you listen every day, it's almost like you listen to your mate and you
get into the features. So like Simon's big thing is the confessions.
Oh, is he doing that on Scala?
Yeah, it's brought over to Scala.
Yeah, so like I loved confessions. So in my car, if there was like a traffic jam on the M1, I wouldn't mind, because I used to think the confessions were great.
I like getting that regular build up, that rapport with someone. I mean, poor Simon, he's been sent Scientology are trying to get Simon at the moment. Apparently we got like a big crate to the studio.
What are they sending him? Cakes?
No, documents about Scientology and all this weird reading material.
Why do you think they're trying to get Simon Mayo and not you?
I mean, well, he's a name.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'd be very good in like I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale, for example, and I'm like, I would be out in the whatever they're calling it, the
colonies.
Yeah, that would be me. Like, there's no way anyone would keep me as a maid.
It's remarkably difficult to rebel against that kind of thing because of the violence. It's so violent. It's like you protect your body. It's your natural instinct to protect your body. So then you think, okay, how can I cause the least harm to my body? And that will make you do all kinds of shit. I don't know if I'd be a handmaid, but I don't know if I'd be that girl threatening to throw a baby off a bridge.
Well, I don't know if you would be a handmaid. I think we need to be in our 20s. They want to keep you in there.
And I've already used up my one good egg.
They'll be like, how many? It's just a kind of. It's like it was thing like with witches and stuff back in the day. There is no way. Like, I once took a bunch of truffles and I looked in the mirror and I was like, saw all my past lives. Well, that's what I thought. I'm tripping, basically. And I was looking at it, it was just like mud on my face and then like paint.
When you say truffles, you mean mushrooms?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I knew I was a Celtic warrior. Like back in the day. I was like, I was a fighter. I knew it. But there is no way that like, I think it, like medieval times, I just would, no. I'd have been a witch.
But they'd burn you at the stake.
Or
burn
drown.
to death.
I'd rather drown, because apparently that's euphoric.
I'd rather drown than be burnt at the stake, because how long does it take? Like, sometimes you're frying up something and it's just like, God, these onions are taking so long.
You'd hope you just pass out for the smoke, wouldn't you?
I would hope so. But
there's something euphoric apparently happens when you drown. But you know when people say that and you're like, how do you know?
Yeah, you survived. You're euphoric because they fished you out of the water.
Well, some of them we would get shark bites and stuff. Apparently your body's reaction as well. Like, it was how did I hear this? But it was someone who lost their leg or something, but she's described like the feeling was almost orgasmic because that's the way your body kind of, so she continued to fight back.
Because there are people who are freaks out there. They'll be like, oh,
don't chop your legs off.
Got you a chainsaw. Oh, thank you, Dave. No, if Dave buys you a chainsaw, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag if I've ever known one. Right.
I felt really bad the other day. I was flying over to New York and the air stewardess put extra children around me because I looked like a nice lady.
Did they tell you that's what they...
And I was like, I've just finished teaching. I just want a break. Like, I don't want to have a 6-year-old behind me kicking my seat.
You do look like you'd be kind with children, though.
I am. Yeah. The kids like me. Well, your little one's been a bit like, who's this lady? But she's a baby and I won't take it personally. But like in general, I think I'm better with kids than I am with adults. Like kids like me. I've always okay, so when I was teaching, I had one kid who was like, you're the nicest teacher I've ever had. And then I was like, but that's why you're shit. Like, this isn't my fault why you've not progressed at piano. I had this one kid who was in year 7. He was just, he'd been on the bare necessities for ages. And I was just like, it just sounds like Baloo's dying painfully.
Did you said that to
Yeah. And I was like, oh no, if you were 14, 15, I could have said that. You're 11.
Yeah.
I was like, oops, I'm a terrible teacher. I'm not a terrible person. I'm sorry.
You've crushed him.
He practiced it the following week.
Oh, did he?
So,
okay. That's all right. So it's quite interesting. You've gone from teaching music to being on like national radio. Yeah. And do you teach anymore?
No, because I've finished now. I wanted to see my year through with the kids. So I had kids doing exams.
So how long were you teaching for?
So that's the thing when I moved to America. So when I graduated from the academy, I got a teaching assistant job at the University of South Florida.
Wow.
So I was teaching their music ed undergrads trombone in exchange for my master's for free out there. Didn't like Florida. Sunshine State, definitely can still get depressed.
Well, it's full of pythons.
Alligators.
Oh, and alligators too.
Alligators, rednecks, it's quite hicky, you know, like... It's just was a bit... there was a girl who was living next door to me in the apartment, nursing student. So, you know, like, educated, you know, like, smart girl. Yeah. But, like, knocks on the door because she'd been going through my Facebook and was like, oh, my God, you have African-Americans in England? And I was just like, okay, this is going to be a long year with you.
There's a lot of ignorance.
Very long year.
It's almost like there are people who think that only black people in the world outside of Africa and in America. Yeah. Which is bizarre. For many reasons. Most Africans went to Southern American countries or the Caribbean. I think from a ratio of like 1 to 7 was something ridiculous. So why they would think that, I've no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she'd ever left Florida, which isn't, you know, like it was just...
But she had a TV, surely.
Yeah, I just a few things. But then I suppose when you realise when you're out there and how expensive it is to travel, like we used to have the EU. Hey, what, 79 more days? But if you actually think about it, you don't want to be, like, snobby on terms of money and travel. Right. But you're right, TV, internet, just common sense.
Read a book.
Yeah, but that didn't happen out there. But, yeah, I found it was some of them. I think it was the first time I heard of the word culture shock, and I thought, I'll be fine, I'm even someone that speaks English. Yeah. And I was like, oh, we're really different. Like, I never put my hand up in class unless I know an answer, whereas I felt like they would put their hands up to give it a go because they think they get points for giving a go. Oh,
that's a very American thing, isn't it? Like, take part and, you know, woo.
Yeah, I just didn't, and it was just like common sense. They have to follow rules.
Right.
Even if they're like, you're an international student, so you have to take an English exam. And I'm like, what am I speaking?
So they're like jobs worth.
Yeah. Didn't like that.
That's interesting. So there for you. And why Southern Florida? Was that just the one
that's just got what I got offered, and I went, I've never lived in another country. It'd be really good to, and it was an experience to live in another country. And it was, they were paying me money. And I was like, well, I've just graduated. It's a year.
Seems like an adventure. So you say you got depressed out there. Did you know beforehand that that something wasn't right and you're unhappy?
Yeah, I think I was always quite an anxious kid. So I think I first got told maybe you're depressed was when I was in sixth form. Right. Not my convent school. But it would have made sense.
In your convent school, they would have thought that's model behaviour. Yeah. Very pious.
Yeah, very just kind of, it was a convent school. I didn't like the convent school or like Catholicism-y kind of thing. But I think depression, but it's different now because now all teenagers and they're all doing mindfulness in primary schools, the ones I'm teaching in. But when I was at school, it was like, you're sad? Oh, don't be.
I never even heard the words, like the lexicon of mental health now that you see every day, just not visible at all when I was at school. When I went through the education system, actually, so up until doing my degree, it would never even occurred to me that a person I knew could become depressed, let alone myself.
Yeah.
It's something that happened to people in EastEnders.
Yeah, pretty much. Our priests, basically, who used to come into my convent school, we didn't have our year 11 party thing, and they had a mass instead. And the headmistress walks around. I know, it's just so many things, and you're like, that's what all the girls from Croydon wanted. We wanted a party. I think it's really funny.
There's a convent school in Croydon. I didn't know.
I think there's two.
There's two. Why?
I don't know. Well, I think because Croydon's quite a mixed place as well. So we just had every Catholic kind of like Poland, Spain, Goa, kind of like everything all in one place.
So what's the story? You have a mass instead of a party?
Yeah, and the headmistress walked along and was just like, can you uncross your legs? Because when you cross your legs, it rises your skirt up and it distracts the priest.
I think the music world and the world of Catholicism is full of adults taking advantage of young people.
Music that happens, now as a teacher, like if I think about it, you wouldn't be able to teach like that.
Yeah.
You have to have windows in your doors.
Yeah.
And it's always just safeguarding. You have to be so careful, especially because you end up building that relationship with that child one-on-one if you're giving them a piano lesson or a trumpet lesson.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you more stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have to say to the kid, safeguarding, if there's anything that I'm worried that you might be in danger, I will have to report this. You have to stop them. There's so many things that go on. And it's like with breathing. You know what I mean? I never just touch a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a great little clip that you can take for you. No, I never just touch a kid.
You're right. You have to ask their consent. You have to say, I'm going to do this. Is it okay, right?
Yeah, or like, can I just demonstrate on your hand? Kind of.
No, you're actually right. And I think what happens is you get these industries or professions that attract predators because they know, I can be in, like, a good example is football coaching.
Yeah,
so all these
boxing.
Oh, yeah. Any time I see young working class kids and they're attached to a sport, and I know there's historic child abuse, and we're not really talking about it, but why? I'm not saying people who want to do these things are all predators and they don't want to help young kids, but if you are a predator and you want to be around children, these are environments where you don't get questioned. People think, you're helping these poor kids. I think what we're saying is, like, particularly for football, okay, all I'm saying is these are perfect environments for predatory people.
It's the same. Youth orchestras and things like that. If I think about it, I started going out on tour around Europe in youth orchestras when I was about 12.
Right.
And because I'd gone fast and it was Croydon, most of my peers were 16, 17.
Right.
So it's just kind of, you're thinking, I'm like, I started drinking at a very young age.
See, that's a safeguarding issue. You should have had a chaperone. Or someone should have been aware of you being around people who could legally have sex.
Yeah, I shouldn't have been allowed to ride a speedboat in Italy when I was 14.
Yeah.
How did I get away with that? How did I manage to hire a speedboat?
It was the 90s. Pretty reckless time. How did we get onto this? I can't remember. We're talking about Catholics. Teaching. Do you miss it?
When you finish in July. I got the radio gig in March, and I've been peri teaching for like a few years now, doing some wider up stuff, whole class, but I work for 3 different councils, Camden, Wandsworth and Waltham Forest.
Okay.
And so going to different schools. But I got the radio thing, and I wanted to see the year out of my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
of course, yeah.
For some of them as well, like, they've had so many different classroom teachers if the school's not doing well.
Yeah.
So it has been, you are for some of them that bit of stability. And I just,
And it's music, they enjoy it, they look forward to it.
It's like it was one of them, I'm getting you through your grade 1 if it kills me, and it was. But I wanted to, but I felt like doing that and then going on tour with Hackney, as well as the radio, as well as doing all the stand-up, it was too much.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna not go out at all anymore. And you're kind of like, I did my trip to New York, and I'm gonna just really focus, something I had to give, and I didn't want stand-up to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I think you've given back enough. How long did you teach for? How many years?
God, man, how long have I been doing it? Like 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done enough.
That's spectacular. And also, you can always go back to it. You can teach my child. How many instruments do you play?
Professionally, I only go out and gig on a trombone, but teaching, I was teaching piano.
Yeah.
Because I've done all my grades in piano and stuff, singing and all the brass.
Okay, so that's good. So you could teach my child if you miss teaching.
Be like, how good are you blowing raspberries?
She's quite good at raspberries. She
Brilliant.
spends all night going.
Brass player already.
3 in the morning she'll do that. It's like a lot of fun. No, it's no fun at all. But she's good at raspberries. We haven't even talked about comedy, but let's talk a little bit, just to finish up, a little about, you do stand-up, but musical stand-up.
Yeah, so when I started, I was too nervous about speaking.
Right.
Like, definitely, there's an anxiety thing. The only reason I started getting into comedy is because my nerves had got so bad at music college.
Right.
I was like, I need to stop shaking and I can't just take beta blockers. Like, it was like Whiplash, but over 6 years was my, it's just kind of like...
For those who don't know, Whiplash is an incredible movie about a drummer who basically plays until his fingers bleed.
Yeah, it would have been a very boring movie if they did it about a classical trombonist. But, like, yeah, it was just a bit intense. So I started doing a comedy and I did mime.
Right.
A clowny thing without any training and having gone to Collier or anything, and you're just like...
Oh, how hard can it be? You know?
I mean, I've got a chance to get your rat out at the comedy store, I was smashing it. But yeah, then I started doing a stand-up, but I just did it with the trombone.
Okay.
I remember John Bishop telling me to do it with the trombone, and I don't know why I thought I knew better for the first year to not do it with the trombone.
I don't think I ever saw you doing mine.
Yeah.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, no one, I didn't respect myself at that period of time. You know, when you were talking about mental health earlier, that was not a good year. Yeah. I love being I think music's the most metaphysical of art forms.
What does that mean?
I think it can provoke different emotions in you in a way that you don't quite understand or verbalise. I can't say exactly why that piece of music makes me want to cry.
It's like how music can make you see colours.
Yeah.
It's like another language of your brain.
Yeah, I think, music is very... And it's something that's such a community thing as well, isn't it? It's like, we've got two things, music and sport.
Right.
That I think you can go to any country around the world. But the thing I like about humour and comedy is that instant reaction with a crowd that you can get. And also, it's all in my head. Like, if I muck it up, it's only me. If I screw up in a band, I feel really bad for everyone else.
Yeah, it's like, who's playing that bum note? But,
yeah.
And also with stand-up, I find that sometimes I perform and I don't perform as well as I'd like. Like maybe I miss out a joke or I miss a beat and my cadence is wrong, my diction's wrong. But the audience don't know because they don't know what I've got in my head that I've got planned for them. They just know what they've heard.
Yeah.
And they just know whether they like it or not. And I like the way comedy's taught me to just chill out. Like, and not just, lie awake at night agonising over like a forgotten topper or callback or something.
Yeah, because sometimes I just find like you're just even chatting and you change things up doing the free shows last night at Angel. Yeah. I just started changing up my order a little bit throughout the night.
Angel's Comedy Club in North London.
Yeah.
I'm pretending like I've got people listening to this, like outside of London. Like for all my fans in New Zealand.
I know, sir, that was really bad broadcasting on me. My part, like Faye, it's a time and a place you need to say.
Let's end on this. Okay, so it's amazing that you got into broadcasting. What's the biggest lesson it's taught you doing this new thing that's could be like providing an amazing future for you? What was the biggest lesson you had to learn? Libel.
Libel, yeah. I can't say Gary Barler's a tax evader on the radio.
But he is not one.
He is definitely not one.
He's definitely not one. Good.
I just, you know what I mean? You can't make jokes that are anything. And don't call Richard Wagner a fuckwit on Twitter like I did.
If people want to get involved, how can they find you?
You can find me on my own Twitter, personal Twitter, at Faye Treacy. That's Treacy. That's how I spell my surname. And Faye with an E. Or you can contact me on my website or say hi via Scala, which you can download the app on DAB,
and
digital radio.
We've got to listen to you. So on digital radio, that was a very radio voice.
Yes, DAB digital radio.
In your best radio voice, tell us when you're on Scala, what time, what day.
Okay, so I am on Saturday and Sunday evenings between 6 and 8. And you can find me on DAB. You can download the app or you can find us online, www.scala.co.uk. And I think we even have a Sky channel now, which is 0264. And we have a YouTube channel.
I've got 3 subscribers. You've just got 3 more listeners. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
So that was Faye Treacy. Isn't she fantastic? We didn't cover this in our chat, but I've actually seen her play a butternut squash, and I do believe she did use the contents of the squash to cook something with as well. That was the main concern, that she didn't waste the vegetable. But anyway, that tells you all you need to know about her. She's fantastic. I'm so pleased she made it down. If you enjoyed it, you can like this, you can rate this, you can comment on it, you can subscribe, you can share, you can do whatever you do with podcasts you like. But the best thing you can do is stay in touch with me and listen to the next one. See you next time.